Hey guys, Ryan Yanes here. For a while, as many of you know, I have talked about a movie endlessly that I saw back in November and continue to talk about with a lot of my friends, especially the Disney nerds who'll know what I'm talking about, and even a lot of my friends who don't know what I'm talking about, because that's the way I am. I'm quirky. Yeah, you knew this was coming. And if you don't want to hear me talk about it, then go back to being on Facebook and looking at your crushes taking their picture in the bathroom. Yeah, what you knew. Okay, so I wanted to review this movie, but not really in a too formal sense. Just sort of kind of talk about it. Why do I like this movie so much? Wreck-It Ralph. It's the latest installment in Disney. It's not Pixar, even though a lot of people think it is, which I think is sort of nice. I like that people think that it's Pixar caliber, and in a lot of ways it is. What do I really like about this film? What do I love? Well, first let me tell you a little bit about the story if you don't know about it already. John C. Riley plays Wreck-It Ralph, and his job is to be the antagonist, the villain in this game. First of all, the story takes place in an arcade, and all the characters are video game characters that live in the game cabinets at the arcade. Wreck-It Ralph's job is to be the villain of a game called Fix-It Felix Jr. There's this apartment building. He breaks the buildings. He smashes the windows, smashes the bricks. Basically ruins the building. And the hero of the game, Fix-It Felix Jr., has to fix everything that Ralph wrecks. So naturally, Felix gets all the praise. He gets a medal. He gets pie. He gets a kiss on the cheek. And Ralph gets the shaft. And you know what? I really feel for this guy. He's not evil to be evil. That's his job, and that's what he has to do. It's his job, and naturally he doesn't like it because people mistreat him for it. And you really identify with him. Like you ever had a job that maybe you didn't enjoy being because a lot of people kind of not didn't acknowledge you for it. I felt that way a lot, even at a job I really enjoy. So you really identify with this guy. And now what he wants to do is he wants to be the hero naturally. He wants to get all the recognition. Recognition. So he leaves his game and he goes to another game called Heroes Duty, which is sort of like Halo and Call of Duty, sort of modern first person shooter games with monsters, all that stuff, to win a medal. And then he gets in an accident and comes across another game, specifically a racing game called Sugar Rush, which is a little like Candyland mixed with Mario Kart. And he meets this little girl named Vanellope, who is a character that wasn't meant to exist in the game. In fact, she's a glitch. And what that means is a glitch. She sort of glitches like while she's speaking. She doesn't do it too much, so it won't get annoying. But yeah, so she has a goal too. She wants to be a racer, but nobody will let her. So in many ways, Ralph identifies with this girl, and of course, they form a friendship. And throughout the movie, you have adventures, you have video game references, you have monsters, you have action, you have romance. Not between the two main characters, between Felix and another character from Heroes Duty, voiced by Jane Lynch, who is awesome, by the way. She's fantastic. She's funny and she's tough. All that stuff. So yeah, that's the story. I really love the characters. They're a lot of fun. Ralph is very sweet. He's sentimental, but he's also very tough. Well, I don't want to say he's tough, but he has a lot of anger issues, but they never get too far. And Vanellope, voiced by Sarah Silverman, she's wonderful. She's a lot of fun. She's cute. She's tenacious. She's she's really awesome. And Fix-It Felix Jr., voiced by Jack McBrayer, who many of you know as Kenneth from 30 Rock. He's a lot of fun too. He's really sweet in that he's such a nice guy, but he's also a really huge pushover. And the closest thing that he comes to cussing, he says, "I don't have to do boo. Forgive my potty mouth." It's so funny. And there's another character I should mention named King Candy from Sugar Rush. He's voiced by Alan Tudyk, who many of you might know as Wash from Firefly, or the naked guy from Death at a Funeral, or Steve the Pirate from Dodgeball. He gives a very good performance in this character. And if you watch it, if you see it for yourself, you'll see why. The setting of the movie is unbelievably creative. It's in this arcade. A lot of people compare Wreck-It Ralph to Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I see that, but I respectfully disagree because in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the cartoon characters interact with the humans. That's not the case in Wreck-It Ralph. All the video game characters are confined in their game cabinets and in this electrical hub that they go to travel between worlds. I should talk about that too. It's wonderful. At the center of the hub is Game Central Station, which is obviously Grand Central Station, but it has all the doorways to all the games there. And there are a lot of, because of the world it's justified, there are a lot of video game cameos. You have Sonic, you have Bowser from Mario, you have Bison and Zangief from Street Fighter, and you have my dad's favorite arcade game growing up, Defender, which I hope is there. I didn't see it yet, but it should be. Um, so many game references, and it all has sort of a history to it if you're a big video game fan. And it's fascinating. It's infinitely fascinating. And especially the worlds that Ralph travels to. Like, you have Fix It Felix Jr., which is sort of this old 80s platform Mario-ish game. And then you have Heroes Duty, which is, again, that modern Call of Duty, Halo, Doom-ish game. And then there's Sugar Rush, which is that go-kart game. They are all such wonderfully, visually stunning worlds. That's what I love about movies. Movies that have variety. But what makes it good is that there's definitely enough pacing to soak it all in. And it's great. But I think there's really one thing about the movie that really sticks out. And it's something I did not expect at all. It's the emotional center of the movie. Before I saw this movie, I thought it was going to be good. Like, not great, but good. I was excited for the video game cameos. I thought it was going to be like a straight up comedy. You know, you're going to have the cutesy laughs and everything. And it does, but it's very dramatic. Not too dramatic, but like, there were a lot of parts where I kind of found myself a little bit choked up. A lot of things in particular is the conflict that Ralph goes through. And Vanellope, too, the little girl from Sugar Rush. They're both outcasts. A lot of people don't treat them right just because of the way they are. And that is something that I think everybody can identify with. And when you see them go through their conflicts and try to get what they want, it makes it all the more satisfying. Without giving too much away. And not only that for the main characters, but there's a lot of emotional... Like, there's a lot of emotion to a lot of the other characters, too. There's a side plot that involves... You know, when some games get unplugged, a lot of the video game characters end up homeless, and it's funny a little bit, but at the same time, it's extremely heartbreaking. That's probably because of the director, Rich Moore. For those of you who don't know who he is, he was a writer on The Simpsons and Futurama. And I think his work really shows here, because what he's able to do is take a creative world, a creative setting, but have the characters be in that world as if it's normal and mundane to them, as if this fantastic universe is just a part of their everyday lives. And a lot of humor can be derived from that. And that's especially what makes The Simpsons and Futurama so great. That's what makes Wreck-It Ralph really great, too. It has a lot of humor, but a lot of the dramatic moments are effective because of the humor. It really balances out. So for me, I think that's why I enjoy the film. And there's a couple of twists at the end of the movie that I just, whoa, I did not see coming. Yeah, when you look into it, it's a little obvious, but obviously because I got lost in the moment with all the humor and all the characters and the action, it just made the twist much more exciting. And it makes for a great climax at the end. It's a lot of fun. One of the best I've seen since, like, I don't know, Back to the Future. Kind of weird I'm talking about that I just watched. Anyway, Wreck-It Ralph is definitely a movie that Disney fans and video game fans really deserve to see. They'll not only get, like, video game characters to see in there, like Sonic and Bowser and everybody, but what makes the movie really stick out is that we love to play video games because we want to win. We want to get to the next level. We want to fight. That's kind of what this movie is. A lot of people who feel like losers who just want to be winners. And that's what video games do for a lot of people. And that's really what makes Wreck-It Ralph stand out. At least for me. The emotional centers, the characters are really nice, really memorable, really likable. The settings are visually stunning and creative. It's definitely one of the best films I've seen. And if you've, like, spent 10 minutes watching this video, you'll definitely know why I love it so much. So anyway, I'm not going to talk about it again. Go out and see it for yourself if you haven't already. It's coming out on DVD pretty soon on March, but it'll come out on iTunes earlier in February. So if you have a chance to check it out, please do. It's definitely something you deserve to see. Anyway, ranted on long enough. Take it for what it's worth, and I'll talk to you later.